Hi friends, Coach Ellie here. Today I wanted to come on and talk about how our beliefs impact our experience and how the stories we tell ourselves really create and validate what we believe. So the stories we tell ourselves are incredibly powerful. And not just the stories we tell ourselves, but the story we might hear about our condition from well-meaning doctors, friends, psychiatrists. The list can be long. But essentially, when we're told that we have an issue, right? A problem. We have something going on that maybe inhibits our ability to somehow function as a normal human being. We get a story in our head about that. And we start to think that we are unique in our struggle and that this is going to be maybe our forever or the rest of our lives. We start to develop a deep-rooted belief that we're inherently flawed, that we're broken, that we are not like other people, that our specific situation is different and our particular experience is incredibly unique, and therefore we are the exception to this idea of how we can restructure, create new neural wiring and pathways that lead us to freedom. So these beliefs can be pretty ingrained in us, and these stories that we tell ourselves become really, really powerful. So if we keep repeating the same story in our mind, right? If we keep insisting that we are fundamentally broken, that we have injury, or we're injured, we have, gone through more suffering than anybody else has ever gone through, then we perpetuate a story, which of course is going to perpetuate the struggle. And we find ourselves in this repetitive pattern. And then we kind of wonder why nothing is changing. But if we keep telling ourselves the same story, we're going to keep reading the same ending, right? So there's so much kind of talk about this that you've probably heard some of these idioms, but they have a lot of truth to them, and that's why they're kind of running around everywhere on the interwebs. But one of them is that our nervous system will always choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven, and that's valid. And what that is saying and what that's talking about is that we develop neural pathways based on our reactions and responses, our beliefs to experiences that we're having, whether they're internal or external. And these neural pathways can be pretty ingrained, and they inform our experience. And what happens here is we can get into loops, right? These neural pathways can loop. And our brain can misidentify many, many things as potential threats, perceived dangers that are perfectly safe. But over time, when it keeps identifying that as a threat, even though it's not, and we confirm it by our reaction, before long we have a loop. And it doesn't matter if this is a loop about our inner experience, for example, the feeling of being anxious, or this is a physical symptom, pain, or some other physical symptom in the body, or our thoughts. All of these can be neural loops that are perpetuated by our beliefs and by our kind of like staking our flag in the sand, like, this is my truth. This is how it is. This is just the way it is. And you can kind of feel the rigidity in that. So what can be really, really helpful is just to consider the possibility that these beliefs are not facts. They are, in fact, a collection of thoughts based on experiences that have turned into a well-rooted belief. There's a term called confirmation bias, and it's as real as anything else. And basically what it states is that our brain will always look for confirmation of what we are telling it. So if we're telling it that we are injured, we are hurt, we are in pain, we are suffering, we are unique, we can't be fixed, everybody else can, but we can't. These stories become internal narratives and become these loops in and of themselves, right? So the first step is awareness, to be aware that, wow, it's really possible that these long-held beliefs are keeping me stuck. And not only that, but they are based on long-held fears, deep-rooted fears. So we can start the process of working with these only when we become aware of what they are and that this is happening. Confirmation bias is this psychological theory that says our brain will confirm what we tell it. It will look for evidence of what we believe. So if we believe something, if we have this idea about what this is, our brain will look for confirmation of that, and it will find it. So for example, with pain, if I believe that this pain is a problem and I keep experiencing this pain, my brain is going to look for confirmation of that by creating more pain to validate that we're right, confirming our bias, that this is the state of affairs. So, gosh, the interesting things about our neural networks is that they can change, and they are changing all the time. These loops that have been somewhat ingrained, they are not forever. They don't need to be forever. We have this amazing ability to interrupt the loops, to interrupt the patterns, and to create new neural networks and new neural patterns. So the next time you find yourself caught in this story about how, broken you are, how you're never going to get better, how, your experience is somewhat different than everybody else's, you're the one person that can't recover, I want you to notice that for what it is. A story you're telling yourself. And your brain is confirming that every chance it gets, because that's what brains do, is this confirmation bias. And pause there and ask yourself, is this true? Is this even true, this story I'm telling myself? Can I know 100% for certain that it's true? Probably not. And if holding on to that belief, if it feels constrictive, if it feels heavy, it's not true. Truth always feels like freedom. It always feels like freedom. And these beliefs that feel constrictive and constraining and tight and scary always come from fear. And fear-based beliefs are not based on reality or truth. They're based on beliefs, not facts. Just a thought for you today.